Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Icarus. You can call me Russ, and I am extremely excited because I didn't realize that The Witcher had like a little anime-esque movie. It's called Nightmare of the Wolf, and holy shit, I watched it today. It is fantastic. Um, it actually follows Vestemir, and it talks about basically the downfall of the Witchers. I don't know how closely aligned it is to the books because I'm still only on the second one. I've gotten distracted by a lot of shit, mostly by the second season coming out, so I haven't been reading for a couple of days. I'm going to get back to it, but there's going to be spoilers in this. Warning. But it's so cool. I will admit, it. I felt a bit like after Netflix has created Castlevania, that they are like, oh, we can do gore now because, haha, this is very gory when they go into fights. There's a couple of scenes where, like, children, young boys, witchers in training actually, they got left in a sort of foresty swamp area and wraiths attack them and they sort of explode into nothingness. That's fun. Someone else got gutted from behind, so like a tentacle thing came through their throat, and that would have been kinky if it had not gone through the back of their skull. um, but no, the plot follows Vesemir, and he like saves a little kid from a Leshen, which I'm guessing is connected to Leshies, Leshonkies, that sort of thing. I haven't looked into the lore just yet. I do know what Leshies are, but that's from my roleplay days back on DeviantArt. And this Leshen like says something which, most of the monsters in The Witcher don't talk. So Vesemir's like, shit, someone's controlling him, controlling it. He visits Filavandrel, the elf that let Geralt and Yeskier go in season one, and is kind of sort of used to be king of the elves before he got like put aside in season two, that sort of thing. And Filavandrel's like, hey, some of the elf girls have been missing. You want to help? And Vesemir's like, nah, no thanks. We go in a bit in Vesemir's backstory too. He used to be the son of a servant for a lord and lady. He had a crush on this girl. And one day a Witcher visited, and he got tempted away to go join the Witchers because of the promise of money and exploring and that sort of thing. Oh, Nettle is coming to say hi. I apologize. She's trying to also lick my face. Well, he ends up, the girl that he loved at the time he had a big crush on, ended up writing him sort of a Dear John letter. And it turned out that his father died, his old master was killed, and his father died trying to protect him, and she got taken away. And she's like, it's best if you just forget me. And then he turns into a Witcher. You get to see a little bit about the Trial of the Grasses, I believe it's called. And he grows up, and he has the golden eyes, and he's got the medallion, and you get to see a little bit more of Witchers using magic, which is really cool. As Geralt, he uses like the shield and stuff, but we don't get to see how his medallion will vibrate quite as explicably as in an anime. And Vesemir uses fire too, which is cool. We don't get to see Geralt do that. And Vesemir grows up. He grows up like any other Witcher, where he has a distrust of sorcerers, and he's kind of going from town to town looking for coin. He doesn't really try and help elves or hunt down nymphs and stuff like that because he's like, if I do that, then my name becomes less renowned and I'm worth less. So I get less coin. Which makes sense, but it's kind of sad because we see that the Witchers are kind of struggling a bit to make money. So some of them are becoming mercenaries or thugs for hire. And they're being more picky about what they can do when it comes to monsters for the ones that are very good and in demand. But and there's like he's kind of ignoring what's happening with the elves because he doesn't want to taint his reputation, basically. He ends up getting arrested with another Witcher for attacking two knights. And this entire time, there's been a sorceress that's been like against the Witchers because she thinks that they're tainted, they're bad, they only care about money. And she's kind of right that most of them only care about money, really. And she's blaming them for all these attacks that are happening because the Leshen that attacked and spoke the old elven tongue, there's been other attacks that are similar by new monsters. And it's been alluded in the main Witcher series that it seems that humans created the monsters to kind of drive out the older bloods, elder bloods rather, of the continent that they arrived at, and now Witchers were created to fight those monsters. And so this is kind of like the same thing where these monsters are being created. And anyway, so Vesemir ends up meeting his childhood love, who is now like 70 years old, and she looks 70. Witchers and mages or sorcerers end up aging more slowly so that they have more time to do what they do. So he looks hot as fuck, and she's 70, but she's pretty good looking for 70 because it's an anime. And she's like, hey, I'll let you out, but you got to figure out what's attacking our people. And he's like, okay, sure, I'll do that. That seems fair. And he does go out, and he finds out that Filavandrel went to look for the elf girls, and he got captured. And the elves have been transformed, mutated, with the same mutagen of sorts as what the Witchers do, except they've been turned into monsters. And he kills another monster, but he doesn't kill Kitsu, who is the one that seems to be controlling the other monsters, and Filavandrel keeps another girl from being killed and takes her away. Because of all of this, and he was with the sorceress who hates the Witchers, they're like, oh shit, the Witchers have been making monsters, and one of them gets killed. Vesemir manages to get away, and the sorceress is like, okay, cool, we're going to go root out the Witchers and the sorcerers that work with them to create new recruits. And they go and attack, and the Witchers try and fight back. Vestemir does find out that it is true. They were making new monsters so they could keep their way of life going, which to me makes sense because on the one hand, they're making new monsters and attacking and killing people. On the other hand, Witchers are kind of the dregs of society. They are oftentimes boys that are being sold to them or got dumped on them. They're orphans. They're not wanted. It's very rare that there are people like Vesemir who volunteer to join them. And I think Vesemir did mostly because he didn't hear all the horror stories around Witchers at the time. He only saw this one person do these good things and got money for it, and he wanted to do that. And so it makes sense because they don't see an out. The people that are already Witchers, they're mutants. They aren't wanted by humanity. Vesemir doesn't notice how when he walks into town, most of the people are scared of him and don't trust him because he's there to do a job, get some money, get laid, leave. But the others, of course, do notice, so they were trying to keep their way alive. On the other hand, they are creating monsters that are attacking and killing people, which doesn't help their reputation, so they're kind of in a catch-22. Anyway, there's like a big battle, and it's really sad because Elenia, the woman that Vesemir fell in love with when he was a child and still has feelings for, she ends up being killed, which is hard. There's this whole illusion thing where Vesemir thought he was doing good, but all the Witchers but him really get killed. Elenia was able to get the kids that were in the hall to escape, and he ends up taking Elenia with him to die by a lakeside because her childhood dream was to have a house on a lake. Also, um, I'm very happy because an older, visibly older woman got to kiss a hot young dude when usually we see older men kissing hot young women. So, I like that. They are the same age, they're just visibly different looking because of how Witchers age. And then he goes back to collect the children because now Vesemir is the only Witcher and he has to teach the kids. And he wants to go through what he was charged by the man who was in charge of the Witchers before, Deglin, who happens to also be the guy that got Vesemir to volunteer. He was told to raise these boys as better men. And, yeah, one of the last things we see is a baby Geralt, uh, who's bald, so that we wouldn't immediately realize that it's Geralt, because, he ended up going through extra mutations and experimentation, which is why his hair is white. And Kitsu, the elven girl that was controlling the basilisks and other monsters, also escaped. She could transform into a fox, which is pretty cool. So that's my very piecemeal sort of here's what happened. It was really good. I think I'm a little biased because I really enjoyed the Castlevania series, and I do think if you enjoyed Castlevania, you'll enjoy this too. There are some beats with Vesemir that are very similar to some of the humor in Castlevania. The animation is, I believe, just as good. It's a little less gory, a little less grimdark, I would say. Though there is plenty of blood, and there's some very cool, powerful spells. And you get like more of a glimpse into how the Witchers fell, why they can't make more of the mutagen without Ciri's blood, and all of this other stuff. It's just, you get to see a little piece of the world without Geralt. And I love Geralt to death. I have very strong feelings about him and about Witchers in general. But it's nice to get a little bit more of the world before he was around. I would really recommend watching it. If you like The Witcher and you like the world, I think you would enjoy this. And it's only like an hour and a half. And I can't believe it was released in August because it was like, how did I not hear about this? But Netflix likes to hide shit. But, okay. I think that's going to be it for me. I'm a little stymied because I got my first Kill Yourself KYS from people being transandrophobic, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. I also got called the N-word, and I'm like, I'm pretty certain I'm white. You guys have seen my arms. I'm white. But that's really it. Um, God, no. I really like Nightmare of the Wolf. I like getting to see their downfall. I really wonder how much Sokowski, I don't know how to say his name. I'm so sorry. I want to know how much he's been able to input into these Netflix series. Like, is he completely hands off? Is he giving them backstories? Is he like approving of this? Also, we went to Hot Topic today because we had to go grocery shopping, and the Target happened to be attached to a mall. And I got to talk to someone about the video games. Because after I finish reading the books, I'm going to watch the video games, or people play the video games. And they mentioned that the first two suck, but the last one is pretty good. So it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. And then we listened to Burn Butcher Burn on the way home because that's my life. I think I am now low to high key obsessed with The Witcher. And I can't say I'm upset about it. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I have some stuff I gotta do. I got a comic I want to make. So hopefully you guys will get to see that soon and I can talk about it. In any case, I wish y'all a good day. Stay hydrated. I will get to the comments and everything tomorrow. Bye bye.